All right, and welcome to Sam Horn Live. Today we got a treat. Former GM Dan Duquette. How you doing?
I'm good, Sam. How are you? It's good to see you again.
All right, we're here live, Sam Horn Live, and
G-Man, Garrett Roberts. Nice to meet you, Dan. Thank you for coming on.
Nice to meet you, Garrett. How are you?
I'm doing good, buddy.
so tell us. I know you're sitting in your car, hanging out. Your son's at practice or strength and conditioning, something like that. What is Dan Duquette doing nowadays?
Well, actually, Sam, I'm in the neighborhood of the Great Trot Nixon, right? Down here in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's at the Landfall Shopping Center, and we're my son is at a training session here. He's trying to get himself in shape for baseball in the fall. But anyway, we live in outside Wilmington, North Carolina. After the Orioles gig, we were living in the Cape, and then my wife had lived in Raleigh. She liked the beaches down here, Topsail Beach and Wrightsville Beach,
Right.
and we decided to get a place down here. And then we were going back and forth between the Cape and here. And last year we decided to sell our place on the Cape, and we're down here full time. Our boys are in school down here. Brody's was a senior at Topsail High School, and he played ball there this spring. And we got a younger boy, Colt, who's 12. And then we have two girls. Katie's down here. My wife, Amy, went back to work. She's working for a HVAC company. They just finished a hospital down here. They're building like crazy.
Yeah,
down,
everywhere.
down here in North Carolina. We're between here and Myrtle Beach, right? Between Wilmington and Myrtle Beach, they're just building like crazy. And my wife just finished the hospital, and she's working on a dorm over at UNC Wilmington. The other day, she said, "You got to come to my new work site." I said, "Okay, great. Where should I park?" She goes, "Oh, just park at the hitting facility at UNC Wilmington. Just that's where I park when I go into the office."
Lucky
Nice.
you.
Building a dorm right across the street.
Nice.
So tell me, I saw the Hall of Fame. Of course, we all hope and wish that we could be in the Hall of Fame. You're there, the Red Sox Hall of Fame. Is that one of the nicest feathers in your cap, or what else have you done, or what you're at least most happiest about?
Well, the Red Sox Hall of Fame, that was a great honor. The team recognized my contribution in building up the player pool and the inventory that led to the 2004 World Series. And then a lot of the guys on that team got into the Hall of Fame too, of course. Nomar, Derek Lowe, Jason Varitek, Tim Wakefield,
Manny.
Johnny Damon.
Naming
Yeah,
all
Manny.
You're naming the
Man.
team. That's it. That's the franchise.
Well, we had a lot of the core players on that team, and it was a beautiful honor for my family and myself, and I really appreciated it. And it was a great honor to go in with Manny and David Ortiz. And the big bonus was Pedro was there that night, right?
Yeah.
And we had a family picture out in left field in front of the Green Monster. And I don't know, I must have had about almost 40 people out there for my family. And we took a picture, and then Pedro came walking out, and he said, wait a minute, Uncle Pedro's not in the picture. And we got a family picture with Pedro. So that was the highlight of the night. And of course, Manny and David with the great Dominicans, right? I mean, they were 3 and 4 in that lineup, right? Choose your poison. We got a two-headed monster in the middle of the lineup. One of them's left-handed and can get a hit when you really need a hit, and the other one's right-handed, and he can get a hit when you really need a hit. So anyway, it was a great honor to go in with those guys.
Well, you basically had the same team from 2003, and that was one of the questions I was going to ask you. They let you go, and I know that we're talking a pitch or two from Pedro and Grady and this and that. Were you bitter at all, or did you just let that go and it was, just up in the smoke?
Well, I really wanted to see it through to a championship. That was one of my lifelong goals. And when I didn't get the opportunity to do that, when the team changed hands, I thought it was unfair, but that's the way things go. That I didn't know the team was going to be sold when we were putting the team together.
Right.
And those things, when you get into the playoffs, you gotta get to the point where you can close the deal in the playoffs. And a lot of times that takes experience, right? And we had some teams that were knocking on the door of a championship, but we hadn't quite gotten through.
Right.
That 2003 was a huge, huge disappointment because, you could almost taste it,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
The team had it,
Yeah.
had it in its grasp, and you have to work so hard to get to that point, and then not make the appropriate changes when you had a chance to win the game. That was a real punch in the stomach. But anyway, the team did come through the following year, and I was glad to see it. I mean, like everybody else in New England or whoever followed the Red Sox, my family followed the Red Sox for 4 generations. So when the Red Sox finally won, I had an opportunity to see the team. I was out in St. Louis with my friends, and I got a chance to see something and achieve a goal, be part of a group that achieved a goal that had been pursued for almost 100 years. So that was gratifying. Would I've liked to stayed and seen the project through to a championship? Yeah, I thought I had done a good job and deserved the opportunity to do that, but I wasn't in charge of that call.
I agree with you there. On that take about the World Series there, how disappointing was it in 1994 when you had a best record in baseball with the Expos and that ended abruptly with a strike?
Yeah, that was a huge disappointment. I mean, not just for me, but for Montreal and all the fans in Montreal, right?
Right.
I heard that the Expos, they were the only team that wanted to vote against the strike, right? And the team was 74-40 at the time,
Wow.
and they were just starting to hit their stride. I mean, Philippe Alou was just a terrific manager,
Yeah.
and that was the culmination of several years work, 7 or 8 years work. We built up the player development operation there in Montreal, and we had some outstanding players. A great manager, Philippe Alou, knew how to win the one-run games.
Right.
We had an unbelievable outfield. I mean, those guys, Moises Alou in left, Marcus Grissom in center, Larry Walker in right.
Jeez.
They were all 5-tool players.
Right.
And Grissom was a great base stealer. Moises Alou was a dangerous power hitter. He grew up in baseball, and he was a tough, hard-nosed competitor. And Larry Walker, I got to say, Larry had 6 tools. He was a bright guy. He ended up being a 3-time batting champ and Hall of Famer. He could do everything.
Wow.
So like you have that outfield, they have all those gifts. It makes your pitching staff better, right, Sam?
Right.
Yeah, for sure. It takes a little of that pressure off instead of trying to hit the 5-run home run all the time.
Right, exactly. So those guys could run down the balls in the outfield. They had great arms. So the team was really solid. And then, our pitching, Kenny Hill was having a great year. I think he won, 16 games. He was having a terrific year. I think he might have made the All-Star team. We had a good catcher in Darren Fletcher. He knew how to handle the pitchers. And then, of course, we had Pedro Martinez coming along. That was his first full year as a starter in the big leagues. And then the bullpen, we had Jeff Shaw, Mel Rojas, and John Wetland.
Wow.
And the year after, all 3 of those guys, I think, had 40 saves. They went to different teams, but that showed you the depth of the bullpen that we had. and the great outfield. I guess those were the real assets of that team. And it was a young team. It was built within the organization.
Right.
So that was disappointing. The fans in Montreal were supporting that team, and that was the moment that team was built for. And unfortunately, they didn't get a chance to go on the big stage and show all their skills.
Right. That was a shame.
Speaking of the strike, they're saying it's coming. Do you believe it's coming? And if so, what's the purpose of the strike?
Yeah, well, the strike in '94. I think we had a pretty good indication that the sides were at issue over the salary cap. And the head of the players union, Fear, said, "Not now and not ever are we going to accept a salary cap." And so that was the basis for that strike. I would hate to see history repeat itself.
Right.
Coming up with this current negotiation. Central Baseball seems to be lobbying and pursuing a salary cap again, and the players' stance is still the same. So I would hate to see history repeat itself. It took over a decade, I think, for the league to come back to its interest level and to continue to grow on a worldwide basis. Seems to me there's enough resources available for the industry to
That's for sure.
Yeah, everybody.
to do a sensible deal between the parties. You've seen the size of the market grow with international baseball, right? With
Right.
the WBC and with all the growth of sports around the globe, right? With the
Worldwide.
globalization.
Yeah, worldwide sports.
Yeah, right. Not just baseball, but all
Yeah.
the sports, right?
Mhm.
You see the globalization. So it just seems to me that there's enough resources there for reasonable people to make a deal.
Right. Let's hope so. Right.
Well, I hope so. Like, I don't see anybody benefiting from the from a work stoppage. People decide to do other things, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Um, it's like, oh, we can't watch the game today. What are we going to do? Well, I think we'll go to the beach.
Right.
Maybe we'll go sailing today. We'll go on a picnic. I don't know. There's other things to do,
Right.
and
So tell me,
baseball's a great game, but
Yeah.
these you need continuity.
Right.
And fortunately, there's been a labor agreement since the '94 strike, and I hope that continues.
Mm-hmm.
so how I know we hope for this, but how can they avoid it? Is there any particular way that you see moving forward? We all know it's about money. We're about the salary cap. How do we come to some type of medium there?
Well, I saw the recent proposal from MLB to the players, and that proposal is looking for much broader institutional control as it relates to the draft and the player development system. And I'm not sure that MLB would like an international draft. I saw, and they're looking to reduce the number of slots where the free agent draft, the domestic free agent draft would go. So they're looking for broader institutional controls at the entry level, in addition to a salary cap. So there's going to have to be some discussion between those two items, I believe. And the interesting part about this negotiation is that MLB has been talking about expansion for a number of years, right? Expanding to 32 teams. It makes sense, and there's a number of markets across the country that are interested in adding baseball. There's some good ones. North Carolina, Texas. People in Montreal are interested. Salt Lake City. Portland. I mean, there's a lot of good cities that are interested, and I think that's probably going to be a part of the discussions before we're done, because that's good for the players, right, Sam?
For
Right.
sure. Anytime you can get it more, more notoriety, more monies, more, good deals. That's what baseball is all about. Everybody in the world plays baseball at some point, almost in their life, whether it's softball or whatever. But you must admit, the stage of a professional baseball player is probably one of the best in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrific. So if you're adding 2 teams and you're adding an additional 50 jobs, that I would think that would be attractive to the union. So I would think at some point the issue of expansion would need to be discussed between the parties in this negotiation. The MLB's made it clear that they'd like to expand. They were trying to find a solution for the 2 stadiums, one in Tampa and one in Oakland, right? Before they turn their attention to expanding to the 32 teams. Oh, by the way, Nashville's a really good area.
That'd be a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, and North Carolina down here. I mean, people are moving here like crazy.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sure
nuts.
they could support a team. You saw the great passion in that with the hockey team there.
Right.
Yeah.
With the Carolina Hurricanes. You saw the great passion of the fans in the Raleigh-Durham area, but I mean, there's some great cities in North Carolina, and that would be there's about 6 cities in North Carolina, and they're all growing, and this would be a good market for Major League Baseball to consider too. But anyway, I just think that expansion needs to be considered and discussed, and I'm sure it will be at some point in these negotiations.
Right. I got a quick question. That's kind of a fun question. What's one move you wish you could take back during your career of being a GM? I'm sure there's only one, but
I'm confident there's several. There's a lot of trades that I had an opportunity to make that I didn't make. There's a lot of contracts that I gave out where I believed that it was a good investment for the team, and it didn't end up being a good investment for the team. And everybody has a few of those. There's a few skeletons in everybody's closet
Right.
on that regard. You hit on the big disappointments in my career, that I couldn't continue with the Red Sox and didn't get an opportunity. The team in Montreal did not get an opportunity to go. I had another possible opportunity to join the Blue Jays as the president, and that discussion didn't work out. So, I mean, those are a couple of the disappointments in my career.
what's the best move that you probably made, like as far as a trade that went really well for you? I mean, Pedro seemed to be worked out really well every time.
That would be hard to argue against that trade.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine just passed away, Eddie Haas. He was my right-hand man in Montreal, and then he came to Boston with me, and we were reminiscing a couple of weeks ago at his service with his boys, Matt and Danny. And of course, Matt and Danny, they were with the Red Sox, and they scouted with me in Baltimore. But anyway, we were talking about Eddie's role in helping to the couple of trades that we made together. And Eddie, in the first trade, was talking to Fred Clare with the Dodgers when we got Pedro with the Expos. And then the second one, he was talking to Jim Beattie, and I was talking to Claude Brochu with the Expos, and that's when we got him with the Red Sox. So, I mean, that was a terrific deal. That was a huge transformative deal for the franchise.
For sure.
Then, I mean, Pedro's still with the team, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
He's a once in a lifetime pitcher. So it would be hard to argue against that trade.
Was not signing Clemens a tough move not to make, or was it you saw a decline on him and figured it wasn't a good money.
Well, the Clemens deal is kind of interesting. He had a long-term deal with the Red Sox, and he didn't pitch as well over the course of that deal as he had at other points of his career.
Right.
Um, I don't know. We made offers to Roger. I'm not sure. I'm not sure Roger wanted to continue in Boston. And it ended up working out pretty well for him.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The other trades that people liked that we made was a terrific trade for Lowe and Veritek for Slocum.
That was great.
That was a dynamic deal that helped the team.
Yeah.
We got a terrific catcher that ended up being a Hall of Famer for the Red Sox. And then Derek Lowe was a clutch pitcher, right?
Yeah.
He pitched every clinching game over the course of his career. He was terrific.
He was great.
So tell me, Dan, other than when you're looking at a 5'2" player, other than that, how much does the mental or the personality of a player weighs in when you're either trading or drafting for that player?
Well, that's a good question, and it's an interesting question, and it's always like, how much weight should you put on the player's personality and their drive, right? And we know from the championship teams that the championship teams have players with those type of ingredients, right? Players that are dedicated, hardworking, that are driven, that are recognize that their contribution to the team is just their contribution, and that the team's pursuit of the championship is the real thing. In other words, they have all their interests aligned with the team.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that has to be part of every equation for the teams when they look at it. It's body, mind, and soul. It's the whole person, right? And it's the background, the family background. How important is it within the culture where they grew up,
right?
For them to be champions. Like you look at the culture of Boston, right? And I tell my kids this all the time. I said, you guys are spoiled, man. You take a look at all the championship teams that have seeded in the Boston and New England area over the course of your lifetime. Look at all those championships between the four teams. The Bruins, the Celtics, the Patriots, and the Red Sox. Seems like every other year, one of them is bringing home a championship. I said, so there's a culture where it's really important to the people that live there. It's a status symbol, like to be a champion. And, there's other parts of the world where, like soccer and soccer players are revered, right? As superstars. Then, of course, in the Dominican, they rever the baseball players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, all those things, where players grew up, their family background, their drive, their mental skills, where are they on the continuum of their development? I think that's important for every player. And then, of course, leadership, that's an added bonus, right? Everybody needs leaders on their team.
Right. Sure.
And if you find a player that has good ability, they have their feet on the ground, they're directed, and then they have leadership ability. Well, that's an ingredient you need on a championship team too. So, teams weigh all those things. There's different weighting systems for them, but certainly that's an important part of it. Like, you see a lot of criticism about teams just chasing the numbers. And I think that the teams that just chase the numbers in terms of the data are missing a piece of the puzzle, right? You have to weight all the pieces of the puzzle to see if you're going to be able to put it together.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
So one of the last questions, I know you got to get out of here soon. You were speaking about the culture and the team in Boston, yada, yada, yada. You know how the team is now in Boston. They're struggling. They're having some issues. what type of changes are needed? I know we've changed managers, all of that kind of stuff. Is it the culture now? Are we still talking culture when you're needing a change?
Well, Sam, I think it's pretty clear what they need in Boston. They need some sluggers, buddy.
Okay,
Right.
so it
Guys to
does.
hit the ball out of the ballpark. I mean, they played in Colorado last night. They got 2 runs, man.
Oh,
They got two runs in Colorado.
Right.
yeah.
So anyway, I think that they need some guys to stabilize. They need some hitters in the middle of their lineup to stabilize their lineup. They got pretty good pitch in. Their outfield defense is pretty good.
I can't see you being too big a fan of these big contracts for these young guys who've been up for a month and they're paying them 140 million, 60 million, 80 million. I wouldn't see you being a big fan of that, but you know.
Well,
What's your thought on that?
We signed a couple of good contracts for young guys. Derek Lowe, we gave him his first contract, and we signed up Nomar to a long-term deal that worked out pretty good. But you ever hear of the sophomore slump?
Yeah.
That's when the player has a really good rookie year.
Yep.
And then the second year they go into a slump. Well, the reason they go into a slump is because everybody looked at how good they were their first year. Then they look at all the data and they figure out how to game plan to look at the players' strengths and how they can neutralize those strengths. And then they game plan to exploit the player's weakness, right?
Right.
And if you're going to go through and give a player a huge contract before he's gone through that adjustment period,
Right. There you have it.
where the league has exploited every single weakness that player has, or actually not exploited, they've identified all the weaknesses that player has by game planning against him. If you're going to go out and give him the money, I think you're taking a significant risk.
And they're giving it in the first quarter of their freshman year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I would prefer to see them establish themselves in the big league, and let the rest of the league determine if the player is worthy of the money. I mean, GMs aren't soothsayers, right?
Right.
I mean, we don't have this crystal ball. It's like you have all this data that can help inform your decision, but there's a lot of things that happen along the way. Look at that contract the kid got in Tampa, right? He got a huge contract, and then he got in trouble with the law.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Where people went after him.
Mm-hmm.
There's just too many. There's too many things can happen.
Right.
I like the. I like to see the players that grind it out every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And in the big leagues, there's nothing like the big leagues, right?
Right.
I mean, you can say, "Oh, yeah, he's proven himself in the minor leagues." Well, that's not proving yourself in the big leagues to me. Mm-hmm. And you ought to have to prove yourself in the big leagues for me to get the kind of long-term contracts we're talking about. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're guaranteed, right? You get the money.
Right.
You sign it, and you get the money.
You're set for life.
All right, Dan. Well, go ahead. Why don't you take us out, Dan? Let us know your final thoughts on that, what you were just saying.
Well, how do you feel about that as a player?
I'm jealous. I'm jealous as hell because I remember I used to have to put in a lot of time and effort just to get a 1-year contract. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but to start their career, I was one of the best ever in baseball. So right. I would have been an $80 million guy, over 5 years after playing only 30 games or so. So
right.
I like that, but I'm jealous because back in my day, we didn't have that opportunity.
Yeah, teams weren't doing that.
Yes. Well, thank you, Dan Duquette, for coming on Sam Horn Live with.
G-Man.
It's been great talking to you. I hope your son had a great workout. Maybe we'll see you one day in one of the expansions. Hey buddy, how you doing? Maybe we'll see you guys or see your son on one of those expansion teams that's coming to Charlotte, or better yet, to North Carolina.
We could use them on the Red Sox, actually.
I like your thinking, Sam. That's great. Thank you.
All right, thank you,
Dan.
Guys, take care.
Appreciate it.
Right.
Take care, Dan.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Bye.